There are only two steps to getting rid of any energy vampire within your life. And I don't care if they are the Count Dracula of energy vampires. They are the king of all vampire kings. There are two steps to getting rid of any vampire. You will become Van Helsing of getting rid of these damn energy vampires. So two steps are, number one, you thought I was going to keep the middle finger up. You're nasty. I ain't going to do all that. Number one is to shift your own energy. Number two is to get the hell out. Now, let me break these two steps down because some are going to need more than just a 3-second video. I understand that. So let's get into it. Let's unpack. Let's get into step number two, actually. Right? Funny enough, because step number one is one of those steps that, we want to push to the wayside. Right? When it comes to doing the inner work, the energy work, the shadow work, etc., we usually want to put that to the back burner. We want something that's going to show us instantly. We want that instant gratification. We want that instant feedback that we're doing something. So let's get to step number two, which is get the hell away from that situation. Now, this is a simple process. This is a simple step, yet it is one of those steps that most of us either procrastinate, make excuses about, or create situations and scenarios to keep us from doing it. So when I say get the hell away, what I mean is this. I mean, get the hell away from the situation immediately. Walk away, run away, leave the situation. Now we think to ourselves, okay, you don't understand. It is my coworker. You don't understand. It is my baby mama. It is my baby daddy. You don't understand. It is my grandmama, which is probably more likely than not. There's a lot of energy vampires grandmamas out there. We got to be honest about it. Start calling grandmamas out for what they are sometimes, sucking that energy out without any regard for human life. So when you find yourself in a situation where you are close tied to this individual, the reason why you feel as if you cannot extract that person from your experience, why you cannot walk away, has less to do with what you believe. You believe it's proximity. You believe it's obligation. You believe it is downright duty to keep that person in your life. Well, guess what? It ain't. It is none of those things that are keeping that person in. What's keeping that person in limbo, what's keeping that person engaging with you in such a way is the fact that you are allowing guilt to rule over your life. You are afraid to cut grandmama's ass off. You are afraid to cut baby daddy, baby mama off completely. Or maybe you still have entanglements and such and such. Maybe you're still an individual. Ooh, okay, chair creaking. Maybe you're the type of individual who is still engaging in entertaining. Maybe you still have emotional cords with that individual that need to be snipped. And so you're making excuses to keep that relationship and that rapport in the way that it used to be. Now, look, I'm not saying that in order for you to get rid of the energy vampire, they actually have to get all the way out your life. You simply have to walk away from the dynamic of the relationship. Meaning, if you were spending 3 times out of every 7 days or 3 days out of every 7 days engaging with this person, you cut it down to 1 day. That has gotten rid of 2 entire days of your energy being drained. And once you get to that place, it's going to feel so good. It's going to be so satisfying that you'll be willing to cut off the next, right? What if it's my coworker? Glad you asked. If it's your coworker, leave the job. Oh, you don't want to leave the job? Then it ain't bad enough. This is the thing that always cracks me up. And about myself as well as anybody else is, we talk about how badly we want this change, how badly we want our situation, our circumstance to change. I can't believe the situation that I found myself in. Look, I got people in my life who have done the most seemingly extreme things in order to get themselves into a situation that they desire or out of a situation that they do not desire. They have left a home that they already paid for in order to get another home on the other side of town or another city or another continent damn near in order to get themselves out of that situation. They took their babies. They did everything necessary, got the courts involved, whatever it may have been in order to get out the situation. And you think to yourself, well, you don't understand. That sounds like hell on earth. That sounds like they're going to drag me through this. They're going to drag me through that. If that is what you're more afraid of, then you will forever find yourself in those situations. I guarantee it. I promise you. If you don't care so much about protecting your energy, preserving your life force, than you do having this person who you claim to be such a energy vampire in your life, then you will forever find yourself in that vampiric, parasitic relationship dynamic. Now, here's the thing, and we're introducing step one here, right? Because we're blown off on the top right now. We're thinking of 1,000 situations where I couldn't do that, but what about this? And this gonna happen, that's gonna happen. Well, glad we still have step number one, which is number one for a reason. It's the first thing we need to do before we even get into getting the hell away from that situation. And that step is shifting our own energy. I'm glad we made it this far. In order for us to shift our own energy, in order for us to get rid of that vampiric energy in our life, we must shift our own energy. And in order for us to shift our own energy, we have to choose to think, to feel, and therefore to manifest or attract something different from our life experience. This one's going to be a doozy do if you ain't really ready for it, especially if you are constricted and still in that space of absolute victimhood, right? If you're in that little corner in the back, blaming the world for everything in your life, then this one ain't gonna be so easy to digest. But I'm gonna say it anyway because I am obligated and obliged to the truth, right? That's the vow that I signed. I didn't sign my soul away. I signed my life to truth, unsugarcoated, unfiltered. The reason why you're attracting the things you are in your life is because of you. I was waiting for the applause, but didn't come. Why? Because I know it's a triggering statement. The reason why any of us attract the things we do within our own lives is due to our own energy. Example. If I continuously find myself in patterns of attracting individuals who are abusive, let's say verbally abusive, I may think to myself that I have a broken picker, that I simply don't know how to choose them, that all men or all women are emotionally, verbally abusive. That might be the story I'm telling myself. When in reality, the reason I am allowing these types of individuals into my life experience, usually unconsciously, is because there is a level of self-abuse taking place. This is nothing to joke about, right? This is straight up, this is serious. When you are speaking to yourself, treating yourself in certain ways, which most of us do unconsciously for a majority of our lives until we realize the actual dialogue that's taking place within us. We become aware of our conditioning. We become aware of the way in which we treat ourselves. Until that point, we damn near beat ourselves on a daily basis, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes it may become physically because it manifested in the physical body. I know that's not easy to hear. That's why I went also to that extremity because, we love to bring up examples that are, extremes to say, well, why am I attracting this situation? Why would that happen? I would never pick that. You are victim blaming. No, I'm not. What I'm doing is hopefully awakening you to the power that we have as creators in this life and to know that an energy shift will transform our entire lives. You will go from having toxic relationship after toxic relationship to getting into a soulmate relationship. I am a living example of this. And I've seen multitudes of people within my life experience this exact same shift within their own lives. You will go from toxic to toxic to toxic to finding yourself in the most beautiful soulmate relationship, in a healthy relationship dynamic, the instant that you shift your energy into one of self-love. So we talk about the energy vampire. And one thing we fail to realize or to accept, and I say fail to accept because it is something that is always present. It's right in front of us. We just choose not to see it and choose not to integrate it and internalize it because it breaks us free from this belief system that we've held for, a lifetime up to this point. What we fail to accept is that an energy vampire is a representation of something that is going on within us. It's a storyline, it's a narrative. You understand me? So let's really get into the nuance of this thing. If I am telling myself, unconsciously or unconsciously, that I'm not worthy of love, that I'm not worthy of, affection, that I'm not worthy of desirability, that I'm ignored, that I'm not cared about, I'm mistreated. Any of these sorts of beliefs is going to attract the very same attributes out of those in my surrounding. Or if I hold the belief that people are abusive, people don't care, people are this, people can't be trusted, etc. If I hold on to that belief system, I will continuously and perpetually attract that thing into my life. Again, I understand this is a triggering message. I get it. I get it. I'm here with you. I was right there. Trust me. I was Neo when he was presented the blue and the red pill. And once he swallowed that red pill, he didn't want to go back. I mean, he wanted to go back at first. He wanted to go back until he could no longer go back. So I understand that this message is not one that is easy to digest. But in order for us to be free from the situation that we are in currently, we need to take this, not just with a grain of salt, but we need to internalize this and come to a point of acceptance for ourselves that we are the one in control. Now, when we speak of energy, I'm not speaking of anything woo-woo. I'm not speaking of anything new agey or out there. It is as simple as the thoughts that we think, which produce the emotional response within our body, which then produce the outcomes of our lives. Not just the actions that we partake in, right? Our automated actions, our behaviors, our habits, but also what we bring into our lives, what we draw to us. Life is truly a magnet, or life is a mirror. It's going to reflect back to us what is within us. So when I change the way I see myself, my life is going to change as a result. This is universal. This is universal law. This is universal principle. This is not me saying something that's going to get me a smile and a shake. You understand me? It's not going to give me a gold star on my head. It's not going to give me a pat on my back, because it is truth. At first, it's going to get me a reaction, a response from you. That's going to be, I can't accept that. But as long as you are willing to take the concept and to test it out for yourself, then we've won the day. I can't do anything else. Like when I first rediscovered this universal principle, this truth, the law of all of life, that life is a mirror reflection of my own belief about me, my own belief about life, that life is not happening to me, but instead through me and as me. When I finally realized that and allowed it to be internalized and tested it out in my own life, there was no going back. It was that, the actual red pill, not this nonsense red pill we got going on in the internet, but the true red pill, which is I woke up to the reality of what life truly is. And I realized everything I was blaming was nothing more than a projection of me. Everything I was blaming. That quote unquote SOB in my life, right? Those trifling individuals, those untrustworthy individuals were nothing more than a reflection of the belief system that I had held from probably childhood, right? And I didn't choose many of these beliefs consciously. However, when we come into conscious awareness, when we get to a space where we have the ability to choose our own thoughts and we don't, we will forever feel as if we are a victim to the beliefs of our youth. So if you grew up in a household where you saw toxic relationship dynamics and you do not make the conscious decision to shift into more empowering beliefs about relationships, you will forever find yourself playing those relationship dynamics out. So the energy vampire is nothing more than somebody who represents the parts of yourself. Where in your life are you draining your own energy? Where in your life are you attacking yourself in such a way? Where in your life are you demonstrating these behaviors? No, but you don't understand. You don't understand how she is. You don't understand how he is. The universal law literally says if you do not have that vibration, that frequency that you're resonating with, you cannot attract that person or those aspects of that person into your life. I have seen people who shifted their energy, who finally started doing that inner work, that energy work, shifted their energy, and all of a sudden, those people in their life who have problems vanished, gone with the wind, no longer in existence. Where did they go? Who knows? Some moved to another state, some to another country. Some people moved on. Now, I'm not saying they went and did the work, but some people moved on to the next life. Something happened to where that shift in energy created where it was no longer possible, or the person changed completely. That's another one. But that's not our job. It's not our job to dictate how it's going to eradicate from our situation. And so when we take the energy shift as well as getting the hell away, right, which in its true context is removing ourselves from a situation, stop feeding into that situation, stop turning our attention towards that situation, Stop giving life to that situation. When we apply those two, that third step is the full eradication of any energy vampire within your life. I know we want this guide of, you got to do this ritual and, put a garlic clove on your head and let it drizzle down on your face once the oils start to seep. I know we want all kinds of crazy stuff to do, but I ain't got that for you. All I got is the truth. The truth is when you shift your energy into a higher frequency, a higher state of consciousness, into love, into acceptance, into bliss, into joy. And again, it's always a choice, right? We believe that our energy is dictated by the external world. We believe that the things that happen around us are what are to dictate how we feel because we're so far removed from the mind emotion connection, from the mind heart connection, which says that the thoughts we create produce emotional responses within our body. And so, in order for us to change, to shift our vibration, we must change the way in which we think. We must become conscious of our thoughts and we must begin to shift those thoughts consciously, intentionally from the inside out. And when we start to do that, we will start to have a different life experience. It's not complex. A child understands these laws. An illiterate individual, one who cannot read, understands these laws. All people understand this law. It's whether or not you're willing to accept that it is working perpetually in your life at this very moment, as opposed to victimizing yourself and buying into the flawed premise that you are powerless, you are helpless, and you are a victim to life. Simple as that. Now I got to make my way out. You understand me? It's California. It's only 6 p.m. right now, but I got some things that I got to run do. So I'll make sure to handle them little things, go to the gym. I got some writing that I want to do to end the night off. But I really just want to leave you guys with this. Don't allow yourself to become a victim in your own story. Because as soon as you make the decision to be a victim in your story, you will surely be the victim in your own story. But as soon as you step into your true personal power, you will gain your life back. Your life back.